Okay, you can see that my handle or my strap came out of that hole on the bottom. We're going to pull the body through. Be careful so that the hole doesn't rip any more than it needs to be. Pull the bag through carefully. You can see there's the lining. Now what we're going to do with that lining, we already have it pressed down just like we did with the pocket. So we are going to take the pins and we are going to pin it together, the creases together. Once we have it pinned together, crease to crease, we are going to do just a tiny little top stitch to it. And as close to the edge as we can possibly get. I'll get rid of some of this garboli here. I got a loose thread. And that's because I ripped out that old seam. Pin it together. We're going to put it on our, we still have our stitch selector, on 2. We're going to go to a stitch length of 3 or 2 as well. And then we're going to put our stitch width on 0 so it's really close to the edge. So we haven't had to do any hand sewing on this. Turn you around to watch me. Okay. I'm going to start a little further away from the pin just because I had to rip that seam out. Going to stitch length of 3 and I'm putting my stitch width on 0 and I'm sewing right to the edge. Sewing right on the edge so it's barely visible. Here I wouldn't take the pins out right away. Go a good ½ inch away from that last pin. There you have it. Your bag is closed. Now if you wanted to hand stitch that shut, you could do that with a blind stitch. Which I do sometimes, but for time wise, I'm just doing it by machine. Pull out your pins. You have one step left to do, and that's to press the edge of the bag. So we'll turn you around over here, pulling out the pins. Now we're going to stick the lining inside the bag. There we go. And now we're going to press the lining in place. And then we're going to do one more top stitch. When I pull the bag in there, okay, we want to fold the lining into the inside of the bag, pressing with a nice steam, pressing right on the crease of the seam. And we are going to do a top stitch on it so that it doesn't roll. Like it's doing right now. Wants to roll to the outside. And then again here, press the seam of the flap. Back and press the lining down and in. That weird sound was my roommate blowing up his potato chip bag Because yes, he could still be an infant. Not really. Okay. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to top stitch. This takes a little bit of practice. You want the handle up and you want the flap up. What I mean is like that. That's up. Okay? Put your length to 4. Make sure this is up. And here we go. Little backward stitch. And we're keeping the seam or the edge going along the presser foot. And take your time. This part you'll want to go through fast, but don't. Take your time, because sometimes it's very thick. Doesn't want to move right. Sometimes you have to give it just a little help by pulling it along. Keep that flap out of the way. I'm moving my strap over there so it doesn't get in the way. I'm coming towards the end of the flap. Always try to control your fabric the best you can. Here I come to the handle. And the top stitching also reinforces everything. Oh crap. I should have made sure my needle was down there. Wasn't bad. Make sure that needle's down. Coming to the end here now. Oh, I hope that didn't move. I think I hit the needle down. Yep, I did. Whenever you stop to adjust the location of your piece, make sure that needle's down so that the fabric doesn't move and you get kind of that funny little crooked stitch. And then back stitch. And voila! We are done. And there you have your wonderful little messenger bag with the flip that goes over. Ta-da!